Yo, what's going down, Greenskin Entertainment fans? Your homie Jay Green back right now with a nice little recap and my review of the last 2 episodes of Peacemaker Season 2. Yo, god damn, this show is good. I'm telling you right now, I'm so excited for what this show is doing right now. So basically, in the second to last episode, Peacemaker's like, F this goddamn universe, I'm going to this other dimension. Best dimension ever, he says, right? In that episode, overall, I thought that episode was kind of a metaphor for suicide in a way, in the sense that all the things that have been happening to Peacemaker, remember, he had to kill his dad before. He accidentally killed his brother when he was younger. He's dealing with all that trauma and all that anger deep inside of him. Hardcore is not trying to be with him, right? Or she's at least not admitting that she's trying to be with him. So he's feeling like a loser in that regard. His own agency is after him. You dig? All these things are going wrong for this dude, and he feels like he can't make it right. So he's like, forget it. I don't want to be in this world any longer. He writes a note. He opens up this dimensional doorway and he goes into the other dimension. Then they see the note and they're like, oh snap, what the hell happened? This isn't how it's supposed to be. We got to go get dude. And the reason I say that, for me, I kind of took it as a metaphor to suicide, which that might not be at all what James Gunn's intentions were. But the reason why I thought it was kind of interesting to think of it like that is because, unfortunately, people that feel like that's the only choice that they have feel that way. They feel like everything is just never going to go right for them. Maybe they've effed up so many things in their life. They've burned so many bridges. There's no way back into redemption. So they're like, forget it. I'm trying to leave this world. And then we on the other side of the fence, after these situations happen, are like, damn, I wish that I would have paid more attention to the signs. I wish maybe I would have checked in on them a little bit more often and took certain signs and situations a bit more serious, so then it didn't have to come to this. And there's always that lack of communication, that lack of realization from both parties, the person who unalived themselves and us on this side over here. So in this sense of what's going on with him, I'm like, I kind of feel that's what the show was saying, or at least portraying. I could be wrong completely, but that's kind of how I took it. Regardless, I thought that was deep. I thought it was kind of thought-provoking, and I thought it was pretty interesting. I'm not going to say fly, but interesting to see in a show like this, again, as silly as it is. Now, the last episode that aired, my mind was blown how fun this goddamn episode was. So, like I said, Peacemaker's in this other dimension. We got the crew talking about, yo, we got to get him back, right? They go over into that dimension. Long story short, spoilers. Long story short, as they get up into this dimension, we find out, and one of the people that responded to one of my videos said that this might be the case and situation. I don't remember who it was, but if you're watching right now, big ups on your theory, because you was right, my friend, that this alternate dimension is basically a world of like neo-fascist, racist Nazis. Because of the fact is Peacemaker's dad and his brother and the Peacemaker of this universe are hailed as greatness. So in this episode, Harcourt starts to realize, you know something strange, Chris? I don't see any people of color. And then as we're starting to see, we're like, yeah, there's no people of color in this whole freaking world right here. And as Harcourt and Peacemaker are in the Argus office, Peacemaker sees an American flag, quote unquote, takes it out of the cup, opens it up, and there's a swastika on that shit. And he's like, oh, fuck me. And she's like, this is your perfect world? And I was like, oh shit. But then before that, I'm sorry, I'm jumping to the end. But before that, Vigilante is so adamant about going to see his self in this alternate dimension. And when they meet up with each other, because they're so goofy, they're not even shocked or whatever, they start chopping it up. Vigilante from our universe that we know is like, oh yeah, and you love Peacemaker too. And he's like, wait, no, I hate Peacemaker. He's like, that's why I joined this group over here, because of that dude. And I'm like, snap, that must be why. Then, Adebayo, she wants to go on a walk. Economos chilling in the house. She goes on that walk. Some lady sees her like, oh, snap. Everyone's, they come out the house, start chasing her down the street. And this chick does not look like she runs, but she is gunning for, she's going after it. And I'm like, what? And then the camera just cuts to black. So now I'm like on the edge of my seat, like, what the F is going to happen? I personally had no clue this was where the story was going to go. This is the confrontation that he was going to deal with. And you know what? I love it because it kind of makes sense, right? If his dad wasn't maybe necessarily thriving so well in his universe because of his thought process and his ideologies, but in this universe, everything is all hunky-dory and they're hailed as like the greatest superheroes ever, there's got to be a monkey wrench thrown up into the mix. Something that Peacemaker has to reconcile with once again and show his character, because now he has everything that he ever wanted in his family, you dig? And Harcourt, who likes him in this dimension. But is it worth being a racist? Tune in next week and we shall see. But I'm going to assume no. Bottom line, this episode was funny as F. Vigilante's mom had me on my ass, and his response to her had me on my ass as well. I was mad that he was so mean to her. Of course, I ain't talking to my mama like that. She'll slap the shit out of me. But the interaction was funny as hell. Because growing up, a lot of my white friends talk to their moms like that. It's terrible. I try to stay up afterwards to watch the entire podcast that James Gunn does, just so I can get a little bit more nuance and a little bit more understanding as to the choices that he's made in regards to what this alternate dimension is going to be, things of that nature. But I fell asleep. I didn't go back to it. Whatever. I got things to do. I got a 2-year-old, okay? I got a full-time job. Bottom line is, I'm loving the twists and turns that the show is giving me. I'm loving the creativity, the storyline that it's building out. Right now, I'm on the edge of my seat wondering what in the F is about to jump off. Are they going to kill Adebayo because you need some huge thing to happen to motivate Chris to do a certain thing? What is it? I have no idea, and I love it. I'm everything. I'm loving this show to death. I think that the comedy is on point, the action is on point, the breadcrumbs that James Gunn has planted early on in the show. Like, remember when Peacemaker was sitting on that park bench chopping it up with the hardcore of this dimension? And then that one vigilante group, which I think is the same name of the group that Vigilante said he's a part of. I don't remember. I didn't go back and watch. But if it is, and that's why they're blowing Ish up, and Hardcore's acting like they're the bad guys, but technically she and all these other racist ass mother effers, they're the bad guys. That was a dope little, like, look back and be like, yeah, the through lines were there the entire time. That's great writing, great direction. So those types of things throughout this entire show, showcasing the times and the conversations that Adebayo has had with Chris, showing their connection, deepening, right? And how cool they are as friends. So when she's in this situation, getting chased by a freaking town of crazy white people that hate people of color, you know it's going to be a bigger deal if something happens to her from Chris's perspective. Like, clearly it's going to matter regardless of any of his people get harmed or injured. But to build out that connection and that friendship between them, and for him to be vulnerable with her, adds to the layers and adds to the overall emotional weight that if something happens to her, and how that will impact him. So again, smart on all levels, in my opinion. Now, if you out there don't agree with me, it's all good, but let me know what's up. You dig? Right now, I'm loving this show. Are y'all feeling it? Are you keeping up with it? Holla at your homie. Let me know in the comments below if you're caught up, and if you're feeling what's going on, if you have some theories, holla at your homie, because I want to hear all about them. You dig? Yo, that's all I got for you right now. I am so excited for this next episode of Peacemaker Season 2 coming up. I'm going to get at y'all. Your homie, Jay Green, I'm out.